It happened 2 years ago. I'm finishing my MBA and signing up for a small elective called Communication for Leaders. I am expecting something like how to talk to vice presidents without peeing your pants. Straight away. I had no idea that at the end of it, I will learn how to use influence and power to practically get anything I want. And today, I want to share these diamonds with you. When we all are at school, we learn that you should play by the rules, cheating is bad, and you should do your tasks by yourself. And literally no one tells us that if we follow this approach in real life, there is a chance that we won't get too far. Imagine this. You're working in a nice company. You do your best work and basically minding your own business. Suddenly, you find out that there is someone who is up for your position. They already started plotting how to blacken your name and make your manager doubting how good you are for the role. But of course, it is so subtle that you cannot call them out openly. So you have to do something. Now, what do? Well, in the end, you're a great worker and your manager probably sees that. He won't fall for this cheap tricks. Your work speaks for itself. Plus, why would you lower yourself to the level of the schemers and start scheming something in return? You are above that. It's like politics. It's dirty, right? Congrats, you lost your job. That was way too dramatic, sorry. But too often we actually fail to defend ourselves, even if the impact on our life is as big as us losing a job. And there is a better way to tackle situations like that. The one way that we're often so hesitant to use because we feel that it's against the rules that we've been told since our school times. And it is to ask for help. I honestly don't think that we are incapable of asking for help, but I think that for some reason we feel that we need to overcome these obstacles all by ourselves. And I saw many people who are weirdly proud of that. I don't depend on anyone. I never ask for help. I am all alone with my problems. Again, they could ask for help, but they just refuse to do it because I don't know, it feels wrong, it's like politics, it's dirty, it feels like cheating. They could ask a friend from another department to give a feedback about you to your manager, honest feedback of course, to support you in your role. But in their minds, to respond in any way to someone who is plotting against you means to do politics. And they literally refuse to defend themselves, and they would rather lose a job than to ask for someone's help. A hard truth is that in reality, a lone wolf that wants to achieve everything all by himself loses. And for me, it was one of the deepest mindset shifts that I think I ever had in my life. Because I also felt this irrational resistance, like you couldn't believe, and I paid a high price for that. Asking for help is not doing something wrong. It is to be able to defend ourselves when we need it. And I accept if you disagree with me. Trust me, I've been there. And for a long time I also refused to ask for someone else's help because deep inside I felt that there is something wrong with that. And you can keep thinking that if you wish. Okay, alright, you're ready to ask for help, but there should be someone you'd ask, right? Now please cover your kids' ears because I'm about to say out loud a taboo word. Networking. Yes, I said that. Networking is the one thing that is both hated by everyone and absolutely needed for your success. Professional network is an asset for life, and networking is a way to get it. Many of us, especially introverts, start with a huge resistance to it, so don't feel bad if you hate it as well. But here's the thing, networking is not trading favors with strangers, but a way to find like-minded people, boost your skills and knowledge, and finally give it back to someone else. Once you will be able to accept that, your horizons will get expanded like you could not believe. And maybe, if you tried it in the past, maybe you attended networking events or you tried to cold contact someone you were interested in, you maybe felt that the process of networking can be uncomfortable and can feel artificial. I heard somewhere a great advice on approaching networking like dating. You will have a great date if you just enjoyed the company of other person, not necessarily sitting being over-focused on how to make this person your boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't sell anything, you don't buy anything. It's not wrong, and you're not imposing. You are just two normal people who may have something in common and maybe in the future would be able to help each other down the line. Initiate connections not with the expectations of profits, but with curiosity in others. And I'm not only speaking about getting, generally speaking, more successful, whatever you put in this term, but sometimes we need help in defending ourselves, not to gain something, but rather not to lose what we have. Here's a fresh idea. People have different interests, and it is normal to sometimes have different interests from others. Minority wants equal rights, and people in power want to keep all the rights exclusively to themselves. Owner of the land wants to keep his garden, and the local government wants to build a highway road over it. You want a raise, and your budget wants a and your boss wants a budget cut. There is no way to avoid this in life. So before we moved on to the interesting parts, let's all take a deep breath. And on the exhale, we'll try to accept that we cannot live a life liked by everyone. We need to fight for ourselves sometimes, and this is just a part of an adult life. Yes, it's still painful to not be in a good terms with everyone. I feel you. I have a black belt in people pleasing. Okay, we're ready to fight for what's ours. How do we do it? Did you ever notice that sometimes you need to be extra loud just to be heard in the first place? Or you're taken seriously by someone only when you let them know that you can be a problematic fella? If you have never experienced that, if what I just said does not ring a single bell in your mind, maybe you're lucky to not to be in any discriminated group like ever. And my assumption is that most of the people would know what I mean. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when you want to get something, you have to be louder than you think is necessary. Because if you will be loud exactly the right amount, there is a high chance that you won't be heard at all. For example, I once had an internet provider that was stealing my traffic. It was a long time ago. I had a dial-up internet where you basically pay for each megabyte that you use. I could just pay for that because it was troublesome to prove me right, but I didn't want to because it was not in my interest. I could also email them and say that I disagree with the invoice, and of course this email would just be ignored, although it would represent my interest correctly. Now, here's what I did. I was very clear with them that I won't pay, that I will go all the way to the courts, and as a bonus, I will be very vocal about their potentially shady business and destroy their reputation. It's not that I was actually planning to do that, although in this particular case we ended up in the court either way. But the point is, anything lower than that would not even make them listen to one single client that isn't happy about something. And there are countless examples of that. We all have this one person in municipality who has the document that you need, but only issues them on Wednesdays and today's Friday. I don't know if I come across on videos like that, but in real life I'm an extremely positive and peaceful person. But if someone wants to sacrifice my interests, I will use all my power to show that I can and will be problematic, while it is expected from me to remain silent and just accept my fate. Important note. I do not encourage you to argue with everyone on everything. Quite the opposite. In most of the situations in life, we can get what we want with negotiation and in a very civilized way. But if that's the only mode you have, you will be in trouble with the first fella who will be a little bit more pushy than you, a little bit more aggressive, more ready to defend his interests. It's not about doing that all the time. It's about being ready to do that when you actually need it. If you take one thought from this whole video, I want it to be this. It is okay to defend what you desire, and it is okay to be assertive sometimes. And it's not something that, exists only in the movies. We're all, throughout our lives, will have interest clashes with other people. And if in situations like that, you will just sit and wait for the problem to go away, you will lose. because you needed the courage to act. Most of my life I've been a people pleaser. I always tried not to cause anyone any troubles. I was loyal to the company I work for and absolutely hated open conflicts and anything that is not a calm conversation of two adults. But it only worked until the first one who decided to walk over me. I wish things like that never happen to me or to anyone, but unfortunately they do, and we have to answer back. I owe this brilliant insights to a professor who taught us this amazing course on MBA. Hey Mark! And I am blessed with amazing friends who are strong and brave, and they teach me all these things that I would never be able to master all by myself. 1 point to the networking. Thank you so much for watching.